There it is.
There it is.
In 5. Good morning, Sheila. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Wayne. I'm great. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. And wow, welcome to everyone to 27 Minutes with Sheila and Wayne, where we talk about communication skills and verbs as we are attempting to change the world in a positive manner, one verb at a time. And Sheila, this is episode number 74.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to us. Yes.
Yes.
And what is our verb for today?
Today's verb is a small one, but powerful. It is to get. And I've got 2 definitions here, and I always like to let you have more definitions. But before we go into it, I'm going to tell you a trivia question, and we'll answer it at the end of the show.
Okay.
So to prepare us for the question, one of the top 10 most commonly used verbs in the English language is to get. Name 2 others of the top 10, and I'll name all of them when we are at the end of the show.
All right. So we're looking for 2 of the 10 top 2.
Yes, and don't use to get because that's one of the top 10, and we're already talking about it here.
Okay.
Okay.
And my trivia question is,
oh, good.
Who was the first person to get his degree from Harvard University?
Oh, okay.
Ooh, yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, I have a few definitions, and I know you always have a few more. So number 1 for me is to come to have or hold something or receive something. And number 2 is to succeed in attaining, achieving, or experiencing something, like get the desk through the door frame.
Oh, okay. And you're right. I do have a litany of.
Yes, that's why it's a powerful word.
It is. So here are mine.
Okay.
To obtain by or earning something, to receive or be given something, to go somewhere and bring back something or someone. Almost like Zeke, fetch. Does that work?
Yeah, he gets it. He doesn't give it back.
Right. I like that. Okay, I'll continue with my list.
Okay.
To take someone or something into your possession by force, to reach or arrive at a particular place, to become sick with a disease, virus, or something else, to become or start to be, to cause something to happen or cause something or someone to do something, and a few more, to persuade someone to do something, to travel somewhere in a train, bus, or other vehicle, and my last 3, to deal with or answer a ringing phone, knock on the door, etc. To have the chance to do something, which I like that one, and you're going to hear that throughout my spiel today.
Okay.
And my last one, to understand or hear something. So those are mine.
I get it.
You get it. Then we're done. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening.
We've enjoyed having you join our show today. Well, can I talk a little bit before we go too far here about 2 things I learned about the verb to get that has to do with it being one of the most commonly used verbs?
I'm listening. Please do.
Okay. It turns out it's called an irregular verb. And what makes a verb irregular, one of the ways, is that it doesn't follow the usual pattern for past tense. You don't add an ed, you don't say getted, and that way, because it's really got or a different form of the word. There are 180 irregular verbs in the English language, and they alone, those 180 words, make up 70% of verbs in everyday use. So I mentioned the top 10 irregular, which the top 10 that I mentioned in the trivia question are all irregular verbs also. They are the most difficult to learn when you're learning English because they do not follow the rules. So that was point number 1. And point number 2 I wanted to mention is that get is considered a phrasal verb when you combine get and an adverb or a preposition. And and I'm never going to ask anyone to try to define what preposition is because I've just hit the capacity of my knowledge of grammar here. You
Uh-oh.
can come up with so many different meanings, some of them totally contradicting each other. And when I say a phrasal verb, it's like get lost or get started or
Hmm.
get carried away or, some of the ways that you were describing it as well during the definitions. So
Yes.
just wanted to start out with those 2 points.
Nice.
I don't usually get excited about grammar.
I, and I hear the excitement in your voice. And you sent me a text earlier, and you
Uh-huh.
said you can't wait to talk about the magical verb to get. What
Yes.
makes it magical for you?
Well, for me, it's all about that phrasal part again, because I started looking up definitions for some of these combined verb plus adverb or prepositions. I learned about get rich schemes and getting carried
Ah,
away and getting a job. They're just, you could go in 100 or more different directions with this verb. And so that's why it's such a powerful 3-letter verb.
okay. And I'm laughing because you just took the words right off of my page
Oh,
here.
which ones?
It says, I started out, I said, it was though my mind, as I was thinking about the verb get, it was though my mind ran in all directions at the same
Okay. All
time
right.
with the
Yeah.
thought of this verb,
Hmm.
because there's so many ways and
Oh my
perspectives to
gosh.
bring it into view.
Yes.
It is.
Good. Good.
So and because of that, I really had no idea where I was going to start,
Yeah.
and and then it hit me.
Okay.
Start at the beginning.
Okay.
I hear there's a song that says something about that because it's a very good place to start.
Oh, yeah. I think I've
Do
heard
re
that
mi.
song.
I think
Yes.
yeah. so
Get
so
it.
I said, "Okay, well, what was the start?" And so my start was, okay, just get going, just start,
Okay.
and it flowed from there.
Good. Let's hear some of your flow.
Okay, well, and as you know, I typically go down either a personal, professional,
Mm-hmm.
job, or relationship kind of a venture,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
so today's not going to be any different.
Okay.
Personal, some of my personal thoughts, and it goes along with how I thought growing up and doing things.
Mm-hmm.
We practice so we can get to do things.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, because that's starting. You have to practice.
Okay.
And I used to be a thespian.
Oh, yes.
So we practiced, and we practiced our lines, we practiced movement, we practiced all the actions that we're going to be doing. We choreographed all of the things we'd be doing from stage left, stage right, stage front,
Mm.
backstage.
Mm.
It just We practiced an opening night. We practiced for that opening night for a play or recital.
Mm-hmm.
And how many of us have done that? I have many
My
times.
hands raised.
Your hands raised,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And what were you in recital? Were you a thespian?
I was
What?
in a choir. In
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and you have to practice, don't you, so that you can
Yes,
get
you
it right.
do. Oh, yes.
Even though you're still gonna make mistakes that night.
Absolutely.
But the only ones who will know will be you and the rest of your cast members, but no one else. We
No.
we are practicing for a specific position, like on a team, like baseball, volleyball, or dodgeball. You're practicing because you want to get out there and play. I want to get to this. We study so we get to do things, and we study so that we can get things,
Ah.
as one of my definitions.
Mm-hmm.
And here's my to get things from studying, because
Okay.
I wanted to get an A on the exam,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. How about you? I'll defer to you now.
Well, using one of the phrasal verbs, I started researching get rich schemes, not because I'm
Mm,
recommending them,
okay.
but in the 1920s, there was a time. It was a time of abundance and excess in American economy, the American economy, and many things were started as a result. For instance, the Better Business Bureau and other private sector watch groups, and maybe even government watch groups, because
Hmm.
someone had to kind of rein it in and protect people from hurting themselves.
Uh-oh.
But most people had an optimistic belief that anyone could be a millionaire, and that's what led to a lot of the original get rich schemes and the original Ponzi scheme. And many of these were buying land in an area where there were really swamps, or buying oil wells, or the Ponzi scheme. Oh, no, there was another huge one where they would buy stamps from Europe and transfer them over to US stamps. But the stamps had nothing to do with anything. And people would hang on to those stamps thinking they were going to get rich. So the thing is, get rich schemes have not gone away. And they're still going on, according to history.com, Patrick Kiger.
So Barnum and Bailey's concept of there's a sucker born every minute is still thriving, huh?
Sadly, yes. And so it's a good thing we've got these Better Business Bureaus. And I think you might even just look at how seniors are being targeted by get-rich schemes.
Yes.
And they're using artificial intelligence now for it. So we live in interesting times.
Okay. Going back to my personal list.
Please, yes.
We graduate from college with a major in biology so that we can go out and do biological research. I get to do biological research. Yay.
And get a good job. Yay.
And get a good job. And getting that good job means, I get to play. I get to stay in a space that's comfortable for me, that I like, that I can afford. I get to get, you get a lot of things by doing that, don't you?
Yes.
Graduating, I get to graduate from graduate school once you have completed all the requirements for that. Yay. And you can go off and do more things. And graduating from a trade school. Now I get to do all the things I wanted to do in rebuilding sports cars.
There you go.
Right? Yes.
Yes.
And how many of these do we see on TV? All of those individuals who do those kinds of things that they loved.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they went out and they worked hard for it. They practiced, they learned, and now they're doing it. Okay, that reminds me of a joke. Okay. Can I tell you this funny story? Yes. I think I said this once. Please stop me if I didn't or did.
Okay.
I used to do motivational speaking, and there's this one guy and our paths would cross every now and then. And he's a funny guy, really a good guy. And I was listening to one of his presentations because my presentation was going to be after his in a different space. But I said, I have time. I'll go listen to him in this auditorium. And he was talking to us, the audience. He goes, I was talking to my wife the other day, and I said, honey, have you ever, in your wildest dreams, have you ever thought that we would be traveling like we're doing, being able to speak to individuals like this and just doing the things we do? And he said, you know what she said to me? And we said, no, what? She said, honey, in my wildest dreams, you don't even show up.
So, time to get a marriage counselor.
Oh! Yes. And so, yes, graduating from flight school.
Ooh.
People now get to fly airplanes all over the country. And I'm going to piggyback that into one of the professional things because I've heard a lot of pilots tell me. I know a lot of pilots because I used to volunteer at the Udvar-Hazy.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Air and Space Museum.
Air and Space Museum. So I've interacted and know a lot of pilots. And basically all of them would say something to this effect. Yeah, I flew for, or I fly for, or I do. And they say, and they pay me to do that.
That's a great kind of job where you are excited about, where the paycheck is not the first part of it. That's You're just having so much fun.
Exactly. So they get to do that. And so get it. If I can steal your magical, when you talk to people who are excited about that, you can see the magic. You can see the smiles, the sparkle, the tinkle in their eye. Can't you?
Yes.
It's refreshing. It really is to see that.
Yeah. You want to get some of that.
Yes, ma'am.
For yourself.
Okay.
Too.
Please go ahead. I know you have quotes out there. I'm waiting for them.
I do have some quotes. We can do quotes next then.
Okay.
Some of these were thought-provoking. Winston Churchill said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give."
Ooh. Yeah.
Roger Miller said, "Some people walk in the rain, others just get wet." I really like that because we've had a lot of rain lately. And sometimes we're enjoying it, the dog and I, and sometimes we're just getting wet. Okay.
Just getting wet. Okay.
Harry S. Truman said, You want a friend in Washington, D.C.? Get a dog.
Ooh.
Don't trust anyone else. And then
That's
finally,
right. Just get a dog
yeah,
and you'll have a friend.
yeah,
That's the only
there's
friend
your
you'll have.
friend.
Okay. I got that.
Yeah, good. Okay.
No
Tyler
pun
Perry
intended.
finally said, "It's not an easy journey to get to a place where you forgive people, but is such a powerful place because it frees you."
Mm.
I
It,
liked that a lot.
true. So true. So
So,
true. Yes.
well, and then we'll get back on to some of your personal, professional, relational categories.
Okay. Getting a graduating from medical school so you can
Hmm.
get to be a physician
Hmm.
and you can practice medicine.
Hmm.
Graduating from law school so you can get to be a lawyer or a judge or get to go and do all kinds of things
Hmm.
that you only thought of, but now you can do it because you have the credentials.
Hmm.
It's just, it is such a building block kind of a
Yes.
get. And
Yeah.
it's just so cool to look back. And again, skiing,
Mm.
going down the hill with my instructor. He says, she says, do this, follow me. And then a lot of times we would stop halfway down and they would look up and say, look back behind us and
Yeah.
say, now look at that. And you look up there and they said, you got to do that
Hmm.
because you have the skills to do that. And they would say, did you ever think you'd be able to do that? And I go, no. Well, you got to do that because
Neat.
because you have the skills. And then they would wrap it up with, now look down the hill. Okay, go get
Oh,
it.
uh, mm.
Get down there. Oh no, I don't want to.
It turns out I'm really good at following the leader, but not being the
Ah,
ski leader.
okay. Okay. Gosh. And one of my last few things, we do things because it's our choice and because it's a great privilege to be able to do them.
Mhm.
I was talking with a friend the other day. Her name is Jennifer, and I told her I was going to say this because this is what she said to me, because she said, "Hey, Wayne, what are you and Sheila talking about on Thursday?" I said, "Oh, we're going to use the word get," and she says, "Oh, get." She said, "Oh, that's a cool word," and she says, "You know what? I get to go to church,"
Okay.
and I smiled because not a lot of people can say that.
Right. In a lot of cultures, it's not a
Because
yeah,
in a
safe
lot of
thing.
cultures and in a
Yeah.
lot of countries, it's not safe to go to church,
Right.
but she gets to go. And so she says, and that's the choice I have, and I love it. And I'm thinking, very cool.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Anyway, professional. Now we prepare ourselves for more responsibility. At least
Hmm.
I think we do. I know I tried to.
Yep.
And once you get and find yourself in that place with more responsibility, now we get to do things and help make a difference. Where we thought, I'm just the worker bee, I can't make a difference. And I think that's a wrong attitude. I think you can. But once you get into that leadership role, once you get into that boss role, you get to make a difference.
Hmm.
Now you do it through those individuals who are working with you, for
Hmm.
you,
Hmm.
who didn't believe they could do it, make a difference. But that's how you do that. And as the boss, now I get to rewrite some of the policies that made no sense.
Ah.
Ah, I liked that one. Now I get to fly jets and they pay me to do it. I said that in the personal. That's
Right.
the professional one. As a leader, I get to hand out awards to deserving individuals, teams, and groups.
Mm.
And I always loved that
Hmm.
because so much work, so much time, so much energy and effort is lost on everyone else because we don't see it on an individual.
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
have no idea how much time and energy you're putting behind something.
Hmm.
But when the recognition comes to the forefront, if the boss doesn't let individuals know how much time and energy went involved in that, they're missing a great opportunity. They didn't get it.
Right.
They didn't get the fact that
Right.
this person. But I always try to let everyone know how much time and pain, tears, and
Yeah.
laughter went into this process.
Good.
Yeah, so I got to do that and I loved it. It was fun. It really was. How
It
about you?
I'm
Next.
going to take a side path here for a little bit and talk about an ad campaign that ran from 1993 until 2014. That's got to be a record for the longest time for an ad campaign. When I say it, you're going
Wow.
to recognize it. And
Okay.
it's using the past tense of get, and that's got milk. Got milk with a question mark at the end.
Aha.
And at
Yes.
first, the ad agency said that they didn't think it would be a good campaign because it was kind of lazy English and not grammatically correct. But that ad, even though it's officially ended in 2014, it's still running in California.
Really?
Yeah, it was the first ad campaign to go viral, and it didn't go viral the way we think of that today with social media, because they had it in magazines. They had celebrities lining up to say, "Please let me be in that ad." Um, the "Got Milk?" question mark appeared on bags of Oreo cookies and boxes of
Mm.
Cheerios cereal. There was a Hot Wheels truck, and there was a Got Milk Barbie doll dressed in overalls with cow
No
spots on it.
kidding.
Yeah.
Fun.
So there it is. Oh, and it's
Yes.
about milk, obviously. But now, interestingly, one of the reasons they stopped using the campaign is that more people are eating dairy in the form of cheese than drinking it in the form of milk in the United
Ah.
States. So,
Okay.
all right.
And and this company did not pay me to say this, and
Okay.
but my favorite donut in the whole wide world will always be the Krispy Kreme glazed donut right off the hot out of the hot oven. Oh my
Oh, yeah.
goodness. And
W-
a
with a glass of
frozen
milk.
glass of milk goes just so perfectly down with that.
There you go.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Another professional thought that I had,
Yes, please.
and as I do my work now, still even to this day, and I'm going to make a metaphor here, an analogy. I ate my vegetables first at work, which means is
Oh.
I did all the jobs that I did not want to do early so that I can reward myself. So I get to do the ones that I want to
That's
do
a
at the end of
really
the day.
good idea.
Yes. So it was fun. The end of my days were always just fun, and the hours would just fly by. Sometimes I would leave work 4, 5, 6 hours later
Mhm.
because I was having fun. I did all the hard stuff, the things that I didn't want to do early, and
Mhm.
now I get to do the fun stuff. Oh my goodness. And time just flew by. And people go, "You're still here? Oh, I guess I better leave, huh?"
You get to go home now.
I get to go home now. How about that? Yes. and, and I remember being in some jobs, in a lot of places I had, um, I, I don't know. I always found myself in these roles, if you will,
Mhm.
of doing briefings, of mission
Oh,
briefings
right, right.
of what we're doing, and I loved doing them. But early on in my job life, I was not able to do them, but I would always go and hear other
Mhm.
individuals, all the VPs and presidents and CEO doing
Mhm.
the mission briefing to audiences, and I would always sit in the theater and go, "Wow, I want to do that. I think I can do that. I want to do that
Mhm.
because it's just so much fun." And as I started to ask, "How do I get to do that?" um, you know, the age old things. Well, you have to practice. You got to know what you're talking about. You have
Mhm.
to. So I realized that I had to learn a lot. And now I'm going to tell you a quick story if I can.
Sure.
I was at one place, and this one place taught me for every other place that I went to do the same kind of thing. Um, but doing the presentations is just that's the easy part. Understanding what the presentation really represents, the work that goes
Mm.
in, the work that the organization is doing to get there, what individuals are doing, how they do it. That's the harder part that you need to really learn so that when you get asked questions, you can speak with informed responses
Mhm.
and intelligent responses and correct responses.
Mhm.
I heard a lot of times as I walked through the spaces with people who I worked with, um, they would always say, "Oh, here comes another tour group, and yeah, the boss is going to get it wrong. Watch, they're going to ask him this question. Watch, and they'll ask the question, and the boss will say it incorrectly, and they go, "See, that's just the boss is stupid," And so I took a note from that. In every place I went, I would always ask the individuals, if I didn't know exactly what they're doing, what they did, why they did it, when they thought it was important to do this or something else, and what would be a better way to present that, do that, or have that job completed. And now, to me, that sounds, oh, that's pretty cool that you're asking that. To some of the individuals I asked that, it wasn't pretty cool. They thought I was spying on them. They thought I was trying to find fault at what they did. They thought I was trying to just be, overly nosy about their job and, hey.
Or even try to eliminate their job. Sure.
Exactly. But what I would suggest to them, or what I would tell them is, no, I'm trying to learn. I want to know, because if someone asks me a question, if I take a tour group through here, I want to be able to speak correctly with an informed response and know why I say it.
Right.
And so as they started to maybe believe me or not, they started to open up and give me those things. And then I found another secret that I learned in leadership.
Okay. And
that secret was, when you have the opportunity and your team trusts you and know that you're not doing this for self gratitude or self-congratulatory kinds of things, they know my heart was in the right place. I would ask them, because if I'm taking a tour through the spaces and I'm standing next to Sheila's desk, and this dignitary, this VP, this president of the United States, because that's what happens sometimes, would ask me, well, why is Sheila doing this? I would turn to Sheila and say, hey, Sheila, can you tell this individual why you're doing this? And a little bit more. And it wasn't to say to the person, I didn't know the answer, but it was to say to the person, I know the answer, but I'm going to let the individual who's doing it tell you exactly why, because they have a different perspective than probably I have.
And they are the hands-on people.
They are the hands-on people, so they know where the shoe pinches.
Nice.
And so that was one of the secrets I learned. Anyway, I'm sorry I took so long. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at the clock. We're at 26 something.
Okay. Do we have time for both?
Yes, ma'am. We do.
Okay. Final question here. Before we first, let me tell the answer to the trivia question.
Okay.
What are the other top 9 most commonly used verbs in the English language? They are be, have, do, say, make, go, take, come, and see.
And I didn't get any of those.
Okay.
The 2 I picked weren't there. Okay.
Oh, bummer. Okay. How about your question?
My question was, who was the first person to get his degree from Harvard? And his name is Benjamin Woodbridge.
Okay.
Okay. So there we go.
There we go. Well, Wayne, our tagline is how to make the world a better place, a more positive place, using the verb, in this case, the verb to get.
Yes.
So how would you make the world a better place with this verb?
Great question. Thank you. I would go back to mom and dad golden rule to get everyone to embrace the idea that we need to care about each other and watch out for each other. And let's start by saying the easy things, please and thank you. How about you?
Good. Well, I kind of similarly get to know people different from yourself and treat them with respect.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, folks, for listening to us. Real quickly, Wayne, how can people reach you?
Oh, www.mindseeking.com. Wayne@mindseeking.com is my email. And you?
I'm Zeke and Sheila at yahoo.com. And thank you, folks, for listening. Have a great week.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you, Wayne.